Hey guys, welcome to what is normally a webinar on Tuesday nights, and we do a leadership call on Thursday nights, but tonight we're having our leadership call on Tuesday night. Lisa and I are traveling. We are actually in a hotel in, how do you say it? Marietta, California, outside of Temecula, because today is Mrs. Huey's birthday. And so we're, like I said, we're in California. And the purpose of this call is to tell you guys that Lisa and I have never been more excited than we are tonight. And I think that by the time this call is over, we're going to have some special guests on the call tonight. You can see one of them right here is my good friend, Dave Madison, who I have known Dave. I think I was in the business like 2 weeks when I met Dave. He came to Tampa. Actually did a meeting at the this is how good a memory I still have. He did a meeting at the Girl Scouts over in Tampa, Florida.
Oh my gosh.
And I remember it like it was yesterday. It was upstairs in this green room, Dave, in Tampa. So and actually Daniel was on. I don't know if I'm gonna unmute. I'll keep him muted until he comes back. But Daniel and I, Lisa and I just returned back from an event in St. George, Utah. And guys, Lisa and I have never missed an event as long as we have been involved in LifeVantage. And I'm just going to tell you guys that this past weekend, I have never seen my wife so excited about business, about LifeVantage, and about opportunity. And so I called Daniel when I was on my way. Actually, we were actually pulling in through Las Vegas. And I could hear the excitement in Daniel's voice through the phone. And what I did is I texted Dave when we got back. I got goosebumps just thinking about what's going on and what's happening. And we feel like that we're right where we're supposed to be. And the reason we wanted to have this call tonight is because, look, halfway through the event, one of the biggest leaders in this company, Tyler Daniels, sent me a text and said, "Hey, Mike, I'd like to talk to you for a little bit." And so we went out in the hallway, and just like Dave and I talked about when we went out to dinner on Saturday night, Tyler's just a different guy. Like he's 100% in. And one of the things that I remember back that Lisa and I have always remembered about Tyler is that he's humble and that he's just an amazing guy. And he showed us back in the beginning. He said, "Mike," he said, "look at my check." And he showed us his back office over the past 5 years, like just scrolling. He said, "No one can ever tell you that the people at the top make all the money." He said, here's my proof. He said, "Here's the proof that income earning statement is exactly what it says it is, because like Tyler said, he said, look here." And he showed us.
Showing how his check remained stable while the middle rank people's checks were raising.
And as the company was going up. And so this building depth event, I'm not going to share a whole lot. I know Lisa wants to share a couple things. And then I'm going to let Dave, and we're going to have a couple other guests that are going to be on here in just a little bit. Pro 9, Tony Kratzowitz is going to jump on, and then Executive Master, I always want to say Pro 11 because it just sounds better. Blue Elam, who Lisa and I just love. We actually had about a 20-minute conversation with him on the phone today. I was driving. It's just good to be around people that you know that you can lock arms with and that they have your back. And that was one of the things that I'd never had a conversation more than 5 minutes with Tyler. And when we went out in the hall and had a 40-minute conversation, I was like, this is the guy. This is a different guy. And Lisa and I, I told Dave, I said, "Dave, we're in the right place at the right time with the right people. And it's what we've needed. And we're getting back to the basics. Nothing has changed. They're not doing anything different. They're just, like Lisa said, she said, they now have a blueprint with a roadmap, right? A blueprint with a roadmap. And so we're getting back to simplicity. We're getting back to things that we did in the beginning. And just to let you know, Lisa and I's business the last 90 days is growing like it did back when we got involved back in 2011. and you know, you guys know that have been on our Thursday night calls. They're growing and growing and growing. And so that's why we brought you here. We're not here to tell you what to do. We're just here to help you expand upon what we've already started in getting back to the basis and having a multiple duplication system. And so with that, do you want to share anything on top of that, honey?
Sorry, I was just texting Tony.
Okay.
Their meeting got started late. I'm like so excited. One of the distributors, elites over there, Kai Hayes, she was talking about how this supports the blueprint at a deeper level. And so it kind of what she used the analogy of the airplane pilots. They go through a pre-launch checklist each and every time, and how this is sort of like our blueprint checklist. It's taken it into the itty bitty bite-sized nuggets so that you can completely build upon that foundation and keep it extremely solid, extremely simple, and I'm pumped about it. I think it's amazing. It was awesome to see the unity, quote, cross-line unity in action that we've always been hearing about. So I'm excited.
And so here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna turn it over to Dave, because here's how this all got started. This is guys, we're not trying to impose our emotions or our feelings on you. If you can't see it in the both of us, then we don't know what to tell you, right? It's happening with or without any of us. We're doing this. We're glad that Daniel and Kathy are on board with us. And guys, this is what we need. There's so much stuff that's happening with this. There's going to be some awesome things from this that are going to be announced at convention that Tyler and Marcel have put a lot of money into and a lot of investment and a lot of time in Blue. All of them just investing. And so I'm going to unmute him, but I'm going to just I gave him a brief introduction a minute ago, but I'm going to just introduce real quick my friend Dave Madison. Dave and I are just great friends. You know, Dave can tell me anything. You know, when you go through life and you have guys that sharpen you, and it's a back and forth thing where you sharpen each other and you encourage each other and you sharpen each other, and it's a sword. It's like a double-edged sword, right? And the thing that we get to do together is we get to do life together. We get to stay at his house. He comes to Tampa. I get to spend time with him. We go to dinner all the time when they're in town. And we just spent 2 more days with them, you know, and it's to us, it's one of the best relationships that we cherish in LifeVantage is being with Dave and Joanne. And so, as I said, yeah, well, and Dave has been in LifeVantage since day one. Like when they cut the ribbon to say, hey, this is where we're going and this is what we're doing. And so I wanted Dave just to come on and talk for a little bit, and then I'm going to turn it over to Blue Elam, which I think you guys will see how big this thing's going to be. So, Dave, I'm going to unmute you, brother, and I'm going to let you talk for a minute. All right?
Well, absolutely. Thank you. Mike and Lisa, you are certainly warm in our hearts. You've been friends since the very beginning, and we still treasure that, and we were so excited to see you guys here this weekend. And I'm really thrilled that you saw what we were hoping would come to fruition over the years of this moving forward. But Mike's right. In the very beginning, we were part of the original core. We're personally sponsored by Tyler and Marcel. And we were with Seth and Mark in the beginning when we were creating that whole entire blueprint. We were part of some companies prior with them and had worked with them and have the utmost respect for them. And as we were even discussing today with somebody, you know, out of her mouths as a Pro 5, we're sick and tired of the new thing, and every week there's something different. So a couple years ago, we reached out to Tyler and Marcel and Sally and said, hey, man, we're ready for another push and press, and we're looking for some help. Obviously, we've worked with both those gentlemen for the last 13 or so years, so we don't need their everyday guidance. We've been in the industry for 30 years, and so LifeVantage was just, let's blow and go. We got to get this thing done because we've got to save this product from extinction. So that's how our whole business really launched. And it was a couple years ago when we reached out. So we need to pop this in a new direction. Let's get some help. And And they said, absolutely. A couple weeks later, he called me and said, hey, what do you think? And we've been, we spent the first 12 years of our business being mentored by Dexter Yeager, who still is the largest income earner in the network marketing industry. And we were, 2 steps away from him. So we got him 4 times a year where we were face to face. And that was one of the reasons why when we met Tyler and Marcel a dozen plus years ago in another company, we related with each other because we understood this building depth process. Even though to us, it's just what we do. It's not even a principle or a thought or a big slang word it isn't any of that. It's just what we do to continue to work with people in depth, because we know that the biggest fear that we have in business with getting people is, can I do this? And can I find people and attract people into the environment that will follow me? And that's the biggest fear. And so, this came to about, 6 days later, we had about 30 people at Marcel's house, and we were mapping this thing out that we need to go back to some simplistic, basic understanding of building the principles and not be, squirrel, that stuff happens all the time. And so we brought back those principles. We need to do 15 presentations a month. And I haven't met an elite distributor that didn't do 15 a week to get to some of those levels. But more importantly, these are the rubric, the roadmap that we've tried to set forward in this group that ended up being called Building Depth. And it's become an incredibly powerful tool because people started to realize the simplicity of what their requirements are when they get started on day one. And through that process, we went back to some of the old school stuff that we've done in 3 different companies, which is a tear-off sheet. And that tear-off sheet is as simple and as hard as you want to make it. It's just the bullet points of what we need to talk about when we're explaining this opportunity to people. And we built a workbook, which is the same workbook that we have always used. We just kind of synthesized it down and boiled it down into a simplicity message. So it's not 800 pages like the blueprint tends to be. This is just, these are the steps that you need to do. When you do a presentation, you have to tell the company story. You have to tell your story, and you have to tell them how they can benefit by it, both from a product standpoint and a financial standpoint. You have to hit on all those things. And when we can teach people those simple principles and show them this tear-off sheet, we've seen huge, huge, huge success in all 3 companies we've done this with. And it's bringing to light the story in a very quick transition where we're sitting with somebody, they love it, and a half hour after answering questions, they're calling their friends saying, get your butt over here. And 10 minutes later, they're showing on their tear-off sheet that I just showed them the same duplicating effect of that same story. And it's happening over and over and over again. And we're just super, super excited about the next phase of what's really happening. And I'm gonna allow the mastermind, okay, Mr. Blue Elam, really talk about how that story started, because it started a month ago with Blue, and it started with us about 2 weeks ago. But your comment was exactly appropriate. When I saw Marcel tell us that this is what we got, I was kind of like thinking, dude, you're smoking something, because you're way out of sight excited. And I have been down this road before of outside entities coming in to teach, train, and mentor our people. I've been down this road too many times. But you are on something that I need to figure out what it is. And I'm about ready to call your wife. You know what I mean? There was something that he was on that I wanted to figure out. And we got the explanation. I'm like, whoa, this is something completely different. The next day we got on the phone, and Blue was also a part of that. But we got a call on the phone with Tyler the next day. And when Tyler came on and he started spitting down this whole entire process of what's happening and how they're going after it, and Blue and Marcel and Tyler were just 3 days at corporate, going through the legal side, going through the policies and procedures, sitting with the legal team, sitting with Darren, Justin, and Ryan, and all this thing coming together. I have not seen Tyler and Marcel this excited in a decade, an absolute decade. Because usually when we're launching something that has this kind of magnitude, we're launching LifeVantage when it's $20 million in debt. We were not excited because it was $20 million in debt. We were threatened by the fact that this has to change, and we got to get people fast. And so there wasn't any time to get excited. We first got excited in year 2 when we were able to pay that $20 million in debt off. But now I'm looking at Tyler and Marcel, and I'm starting to dial in on what's happening here. And it has completely changed. In my opinion, this is called the Uberization of the positive, motivating, personal development world. The greatest thinkers and the mindsets, the thought thinkers, the smart people out there, from everywhere from Tony Robbins to Zig Ziglar and everywhere in between, we have completely obliterated their I'm going to Vegas for $1,000 clinic. You're going to get this in front of you for a stinking $1 a day. And you can start it and stop it however you want. And to me, that was completely revolutionizing to what I have known for 30 years in this industry. I realized this was going to completely change where our team is going, not only from a LifeVantage standpoint, but more importantly, and just as important, is in the personal development phase, which we all have to do, and we all need to do it. I would just prefer to do it at 10 o'clock at night when it's not affecting my income for my family. So I want to pass this through, and I'll be happy to stick around and answer some questions.
That's good. Thank you, Dave. I want to show you something just while you're on.
Go for it.
I'm really excited, and I want everybody to see this. So this is freaking awesome. And I know, look at Dave's smile on his face. Lisa and I have been at this thing and looking and knowing where it's going and what it's doing. And it's funny, we've been talking about it, about creating one for our coaching clients and for our distributors because we have access to do that. And we're like, guess what? We don't have to do it anymore. We spent, I said this on stage on Saturday. Lisa and I have spent $50,000 in personal development in the last year. Has it been worth it? Absolutely. We're not, Dave knows this. I'm not the same person I was even 2 years ago or 7 years ago when Dave and I met. I have a complete peace about me. Have I made mistakes? Absolutely. I've wanted this more for people than they've wanted it for themselves. People get distracted and chase this and chase this, and then they lose it all. They lose everything. And so what this will do, I believe, will keep that from happening. Now, you're still going to have people that go, like Dave said, go down that rabbit trail. But I believe that this will raise the percentage of people that stay with us until we get to 1 billion and 5 billion and the stock goes to $20 and $30 and $50, right? And we become a branded company, you know. And I'm stupid excited. Lisa and I just found out today that I'm getting my own television program on the Christian Television Network. It just finalized today. I was telling Blue about it. Dave doesn't even know yet. And it's just exciting. When you're in the right place, excitement follows you. And like I said today when I seen him on Saturday night, excitement is here. And so I'm going to unmute Blue. Hey, Blue, can we hear you good? Just to double check on the mic.
Yeah, can you hear me okay?
I can. Guys, before, I don't know if maybe we can see you. I don't know. Are you able to see you or no?
In just a second, I'm in a weird place, and
okay.
I don't think it'll be bright enough. But
okay.
let me get to where I'm going. Shoot.
Okay, let me just introduce you a little bit here. So, guys, as long as we've been in the company, there's always been guys that Lisa and I have gravitated towards. And look, there's nobody that has a story like Blue. And I'll just say this to you guys. For me, one of the first people I want to have on my television program is Blue. And why? And two of my favorite people right here on this call that I'm going to have on my program are right here, and Dave and Joanne and Blue and Raylene. Why? Because we've been with them from the beginning, and whenever things changed, they were always the people. And look, Blue is the first executive master. I want to say Pro 11, but we know Pro 10 or whatever. And what he's going through, I've never met anybody like Blue EM in my life. I've never met anybody that when he was in the hands of tragedy, and those of you that don't know his story, you'll get to know his story as time goes on. And just the things that happened in his life. And here he is. Blue's the same way. Blue's never been more excited. I can see it in him. He just had a surgery in his leg, and he's out in the car doing meetings everywhere and just going at it, and he found out he had a broken leg and had to have another surgery. And so I'm going to be glad when he's not limping around anymore at an event. And so I think he's glad at that too. And so, guys, I'm going to just let our friend and mentor, Master Executive Pro 10, Blue Elam, take over. Blue, have that.
All right, you guys, thank you so much for having me on the call. I feel privileged to be asked, and what we talked about earlier today with your show and stuff coming out. I'm excited. There's a lot of positive things going on in a lot of people's lives, not just businesses. And I think what's been so fun about this last weekend was we kind of unfolded that how life affects business, right? That's kind of why this whole personal growth and development came out. I think Dave said it started a month ago, and I kind of laughed because it did. But the concept of what in my life personal growth and development started a long time ago when I was young, and I just had these different means of doing it. I would wake up and study in my scriptures, or if that was my thing I needed, or I'd read a personal growth and development book or a leadership book, and I would listen to something about the industry, and I would pull up something in the past that I had, some CDs that I had purchased, and Brilliant Compensation was one of my favorite ones. And anyways, I always was actively trying to grow personally. The issue was I didn't know where to look. I was just kind of floundering and looking all over, and I'd find something good and I'd send it out to people. And it's kind of like the old Amway mentality days when you listen to 10 tapes and you get excited about 2 of them, right? But if you could find the 2 first, that would be awesome. And so when we started looking at all this, I'll just tell you real quick how the whole concept of building depth for me, Marcel and I were talking one day, and I was asking him some questions about what he was doing, and he was asking some stuff about what I was doing. And we ended up kind of laughing because we both taught a big training. He was doing building depth, and I did a big, relaunch. I'm trying to think of the actual name that we did. Relaunch your business, but it was built around a mentoring program. And we looked at the topics that I had and he had, and they're almost identical because we both knew what topics were the basics and what made our businesses grow. And I think that's happened for more and more people lately as we started realizing that the same thing happened with LVA. They were doing their own LVA thing, and we were doing what we called progression, and it turned into we realized we're teaching the same stuff. Let's combine it, and so those concepts aren't new. There's power in the masses, and if we can all get a big group that thinks the same, that's why we do these calls, right? We get a big group together that thinks kind of the same, and we lead and guide and we inspire and use each other's talents to build a strong team and strengthen the weaknesses that we have, and that's what makes families work. That's what makes businesses work. That's what makes big things work, because it's not based on any individual's strengths or weaknesses, because that will fail if we're having a bad day, right? But as a team and as a group, we don't. So we ended up talking and joining up, and I helped start some committees, and Dave was instrumental, and he had done a lot of that in the past, and we started getting these things running smooth, and this event just got better and better. We started attracting different leadership, and we now add 3 to 5 new leaders each event. I think we just had almost 40 rank advancements. I don't remember the exact number, but it was at least 40 certificates that they handed out at this event with rank advancements, because people are getting back to the basics. And what really inspired me is I was looking at a couple legs on my team that were doing well and a couple groups that were having problems. Our volumes was always growing monthly, but it was in different areas. Some would grow and some would drop a little bit. We would end up with an average that was higher, but I started watching where the volume was coming from, and it was fun to watch those individuals in the building depth system was where a bulk of that was coming from. So I just knew there was something there. So we ended up talking, joining up, and that was my little concept with what we found. And I went to the first event, took place in a part of the leadership part, and left excited, and been on committees weekly ever since, and helping better it and make it more complete, and add an element of consistency that's been there that we've been able to build upon. And I'm just excited. And then when we had a chance a month ago, leading into what Dave said, to really sit down and realize where's the problems. And we started really talking, and we realized even in the LVA stuff we did, when we get into the actual pillars, and there was one that just said personal growth and development, and we had a picture of like 15 books, right? Because that's what we had. We had a bunch of books from different people that they recommended, and go read them, and don't spend too long because you got work to do, right? It was just go read a little bit and close the book and go to work. That was always my thing. I got people reading. I'm on the 4th volume in the 8th chapter, and man, I'm doing good, and it's 6 months into the business, and they're still waiting to start. So I love personal growth and development, but I couldn't find a program that was systematically beneficial all the way across the board, because it's not just a business book you need to read. It might be a book about yourself and changing and fixing some stuff, and it might be spiritually, it might be emotionally, it might be physically. Man, the stuff I'm going through, I've been reading stuff, and it's been awesome. That's how I found out my leg was still broke, and we went through some stuff, and hey, sorry, I think I got a call. There you go. So we ended up figuring out that if we could help people grow in all aspects of their life, that their business would change. And so we started looking at this program and really narrowing it down as to what people needed. And when you look at LV coaching, you guys, it's just going to be another element. I think it's something that can be adopted later by the company. We've laid this out in front of everyone at corporate. When we said we spent days there, it was beyond days. It was hours and days and appointments. And we got everyone's advice, their opinions, their buy-in, their concerns. We fixed some stuff, we tweaked some stuff, and we're still doing that. And then we decided just to kind of pre-launch this and see the interest. And we were thinking, 20, 30 people will just ride this out until we launch this at convention. And let me be clear, it's not necessarily on the stage at convention. We're going to be in our in our personal meetings at convention, but it will be launched there as something that anyone can buy into and use if they want, across the board. And what's nice is people that can come in and they can use this platform if they have apparel they want to use, or they have different things. We have a platform that everyone can use and come into, and we just wanted something that the company could benefit from as a whole, if we did it right. Right? And I think that was what we took charge of. We paid for it. We paid a bunch of money, a lot of time, and we were just in pre-launch. I mean, we only wrote a couple of these roadmaps, you guys, in this LV coaching system, and I'm getting all kinds of feedback. And I get a couple people, hey, this isn't finished yet, or this isn't. And we know we're not near done, but we have a platform now that we can build a map a month if we want, or a map a quarter, and we can guide people constantly down roads that we need to. If there's issues with attending events, we can build an entire training program on this platform around there. If it's something that they're dealing with personally, people have the ability to go to this queue, ask themselves 10 questions on how they're doing in a few aspects of their life, and then take a course or a training program based on exactly what they need. I think that's the benefit. Sorry, I keep getting a call. I have to get off there, but I think that's the benefit, is that we have the ability for people to literally to be able to personalize a training course for themselves every single morning, right? And I think that's the value. Some people pay a lot of money and they go out and get training for a weekend, and they pay sometimes $3, $4, $5 grand, and they might come home with some better habits, hopefully, or some better tools or something. But the problem with that is they fall back into that slump very quickly. And we want people to have a system they can go into every morning, answer some questions. Again, I'm going to tell them the same thing. Take a 15, 20, 30-minute course and then turn the computer off and go to work. We don't want this to replace building a business, because it won't. And when I went through what we went through, guys, people ask, how did you get through that? How did you deal with your kids hurting that bad, and stuff that you can't fix, you can't buy, you can't, just have enough faith and people go, things change. I mean, there's so many little things I laugh about, because I've been told some crazy stuff, right? People walk up to my poor daughter and said, if you've had faith, faith, you'd be walking by now, right? I mean, weird stuff that I'm like, I know where they're coming from, and they're positive, and I know what they're trying to say. But my daughter says, I'm good with God. I have faith not to be healed right now. It's like putting me in a position to touch other people in a different way. And when I hear her say things like that, that comes from a different place of growth and development. I think two things helped us the most. One was the personal growth and development that I went through my whole life, serving and giving and helping and studying and making mistakes and changing and all the things that go into growth. And I can say the second thing was hitting the top ranks in the company and having enough finances and money to not worry about stuff that I probably would have been the biggest focus, right? I'm talking worrying about huge things as far as when we get into looking at finances and worrying about what we're doing in our to dealing with doctor bills. And we had people coming in our place and in the our recovery room and just saying, I'm so sorry, I know you guys are hurting, but we need to collect some money. And they would look at me, I'd write a check and say, that's good, we have stuff to talk about, right? As opposed to being this big issue. We would just, that part was a checkbox, right? Time, I don't have, who can we call as your employer? Well, we don't need to call anyone, thank you for asking. And it was done. The stuff that would normally just take the main focus was gone. And then the stuff that needed focus was my girls and their questions and the changes that we're going through. And what about this, Dad? And what about that? And I mean, we got done and my girls asked 3 questions. Is an hour after their surgery, they wanted to know, Dad, can we still have a family? Can I still have a baby? And that was their biggest concern. And absolutely, we asked the doctor. It was confirmed. Nothing really has changed there. They were excited. Second question, can I still maybe serve for my church for a couple of years and go out and do this? And absolutely, right? I mean, then the third thing, they said, can we still go to Mexico with Life Antigen and build houses this year? Can you imagine a teenage daughter worried about building houses in Mexico and serving and wondering if she can get around in a wheelchair? I mean, we're talking personal growth that took place over time. That wasn't just me. It was all of you guys. And I contribute that to a lot of good people trying to help and do good things. And that's all we're doing here is we found something that wasn't going to benefit one group. It wasn't some private secret thing. We went to the whole company and said, how much of this do you want? They said, start it yourselves, get it going. We might adopt it, but let's give a chance for anyone that wants to grow personally to jump on the program, pay their own way, use the platform to push their own tools and their own stuff if they want. We just want a uniform system. We always have, and we always will. We've tried it with LVA, and that's changed a little bit, but the core is still there. We still got a lot of cities. We've always been after this big, you know, people always tell me I'm chasing unicorns, which has always been kind of funny because I think we caught one for a while. It was awesome. And but it's true. I mean, it's hard to get that many people thinking the same way. But what we found is when we have this many consistent people thinking this way, it's powerful. And the only reason we went to the Building Depth group to launch it first was they're already unified, consistent, and it's a large, big group. I see many groups, many teams joining the system because they'll have a platform to teach somebody every single day what they need, and then to have an ability to push their own tools if they want, or to be able to do that. But what I want to just tell you guys is I am excited. It's a different feel. There's something different when we start talking about it. We get excited. We're sitting in the room and we're not just talking about the training piece that's already been about people who go to the business and they just buy a pack because it's the cheapest one. And what about a little video explaining from some top leaders, here's 2 minutes on why there's different packages and how they benefit your business in different ways. Can you imagine a couple little things added to the process of getting involved that increases the platinum pack usage, so high subscriptions and higher subscriptions and subscriptions that pay them for their time, so we don't have people missing rank, and then getting into the coaching side. It walks them through how to sign up for that and take their first cue and take their first course that night. And then something we haven't talked about, this concept of sampling. We have an entire sampling program that's been opened. Corporate just opened the doors for us on it, and we've got a lot to get ready, but it'll be ready by the time we officially launch all of this to our teams out in at convention. But can you imagine being able to send a free sample of product to people on your team and letting them pay the shipping and getting that, and then having an entire process and email campaign to help them, buy the product or join the business, right? And it's a sample. If you don't want them to pay, you can pay the shipping and ship it right and send it right to them, and they get it totally for free, right? There's a lot coming, but again, you get on this program and it walks you through a course on how to set up and use the sampling program properly. right? How amazing is that? So now the entire business is set up, your training and coaching is set up, and your sampling system is set up. Then the next step, you click on Roadmap 2, and it says how to launch your business correctly, right? And we have different ways and different focuses, and we have some of the top leaders putting their heads together and building some of this content. And so we got a lot of work to do on getting all of our content on paper, guys, but that's what you get to do, kind of watch us do over the next couple months, is watch this stuff unfold. And then we'll obviously launch a more complete system, if you would, on a convention in October, and then we'll be working quarterly and monthly to continue to put out new and improved and complete information. When we got into the word training, you guys, I mean, anything from placement to how to use products correctly to compensation plan training. I mean, can you imagine not having to sit down necessarily and go through all that, be able to say, click on this, watch this, and then call me, just like we used to do with ABC Primetime, right? Let me not regurgitate ABC Primetime. Go watch it, and then call me back, and then let's have the important discussion. Okay, that's what we want. We want people to go watch the information, go sign up, go take the time to do all this stuff and get through the program and do your orientation, and then call me, and let's launch together and do the important stuff together. And so we're excited. If you haven't noticed, there's a buzz going around. I think Building Up is a great platform to launch this at. There's such unity there and some things there that are very unique. And I think this program, aside from that, Building Up will grab it and run with it, obviously, because those people have already shown that, and that group is already united and powerful. And we have hundreds of subscriptions already just from the weekend, which really we weren't expecting. We were expecting a little bit to get started. But because of that, it spawned these calls. It spawned a lot of things that we're going to be helping people with. But Mike, I'll turn it back over to you guys. I just wanted to thank you for getting me on the call. I don't mind answering a few questions if we need to. I got a few minutes before I got to run in here, but awesome. We're excited. There's a lot going on. We appreciate your leadership. You walked up to me at that event and just looked at me with those eyes that most people do and said, hey, I am in for all of it, right? You felt it. You got the same bug. It's simple. It's unified. It's not outside of anything we teach. I like, somebody asked me the other day, well, what if there's principles we don't really believe in or something? I said, well, show me one of them, right? And they read down the list and they're like, do what you say you're going to do. Well, no, I can't say that about that one, right? It's like every principle on there is something we all believe, and I think that's universal. It's just we teach it in a way that's simple and duplicatable, and we're not just putting people on stage that don't necessarily follow the system, so we have a little process. But it's powerful, it's working, and we're excited. We're breaking ranks, and we got a lot of excitement and a unified platform that we're excited about. So anyways, thank you guys. I'll turn it back to you, and thanks for your time.
Blue, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Blue, one of the things that Lisa and I really liked is nothing's changed. Things evolve, but things don't change. And I think what we noticed about this is that, look, we've all been given wisdom, right? We've been given, and for most of us, we can tap into another source of wisdom. But as things evolved, the company has not changed anything. They've adapted to the evolving of what's happened by us of going deeper. And so that significant thing of us going deeper and evolving, we got away from that. LifeVantage got away from that. And you know what? It goes back to what my dad said. Too many chiefs and not enough Indians.
Yeah.
Everybody going everywhere and doing everything. And we had all these different, we started out with the Premier School, and then we had like
Evolved.
and now it's back to structure, like Tyler said. It's no different than he said we did to build millions and millions and millions of dollars of volume in companies before. And now we understand that LifeVantage has something that nobody else has. And we had to evolve it so we could make it simpler and easier and give more people the opportunity to be successful.
Right. Well, think of personal growth and development. Like I said, we all believed and always believe you have to, the speed of the leader is the speed of the pack, right? Your business only grows as big as you are. We've been saying it forever, right? That's what we do. So we've all known that. The difference is, where do you send them? Where do you go? And people started reaching way outside LifeVantage, and they're at events paying thousands, more than they can spend. They're putting on cards, and then they couldn't pay auto ships. And I can take you down the rabbit holes that they fell in, not to their own fault, just they're trying to look for that growth that they need. And what if we can provide that for affordably for the whole company, and a platform that everyone can get on their own time, right? So again, it's not different. It's just we found a way to get what we've always been doing and always knew we needed into a little box, into a affordable box, into the masses. And that's the same reason we built all when it was Premier School, when the company took that over, and when it went to all the programs that we ran, when we didn't feel the company was running it right, and went to LVAs, and we have this. I mean, it's fun watching, and it's growing, it's evolving, but it's the same principles. The stuff we're teaching is as solid. It works. It's what we did to get to where we are. And again, we don't just run around and experiment. We really feel there's things that are baseline, and this is just the best way I think we can get to baseline. And I think time will tell and be a little bit of a crystal ball here. What we're seeing, we've seen other companies, with the sampling program and stuff. We know their percentages and what they did and stuff. So we know what's kind of coming. We're super excited because I think we can do it better, and we have some better leaders and some better followers, if you would. Chiefs and Indians, right? We have a lot of good people on both sides of that. And we're going to show people what this can really turn into. So, ask questions, you guys. As far as building depth, let me just say one more thing. There's a process. We don't go recruit people for it. When somebody shows interest, we put them on an intro call that you're actually going to be on Thursday. That's what we do. They say, I'm interested. We put them on an intro call. We teach them the whole process, and then they choose to become someone who's to show up at the event and just be recognized, or get on stage and actually teach the principles, right? That's their choice. But I don't want people to think we're not calling them because we're not, we don't think about them. We just wait for someone to be interested. We don't recruit, and we don't exclude anybody. So that's kind of the 2 points. You guys showed some interest. We'll run down that road. We'll show you what we're doing on Thursday. We'll get you on the details. And that's for everybody in the company if they want it, right? We don't exclude anybody, but we just don't reach out and recruit. So think about that. If there's someone on this call that wants that, get a hold of someone. Dave's actually on that committee. Tony Crash, which got tied up in Mexico tonight, is on that committee. I'm on that committee. And we want people to feel comfortable and understand what it is and what it isn't, because both of those are being misunderstood a little bit. And once you come see what it really is, just like you guys said, oh my gosh, this is way different than I thought. So anyways, thank you guys. Appreciate you. This is awesome.
Hey guys, so is there anybody on that has a question? Guys, let's make it real simple. We'll just take this last 5 or 10 minutes. Blue's staying on, so's Dave. Does anybody have a thought or a question or something? Guys, if you guys want to go to the Building Depth Facebook page, the tear-off sheet presentation is in that. You can also see a presentation done by all these different personalities, from Blue to Dave and Joanne to Russell and Tracy Blanche, all these people. And you can learn from them with Tony and Clinton and all these people that have done these presentations. So let's just take the next 5 minutes. Does anybody have a comment or a question that you guys want to ask Blue or Dave before they have to run? Don't be shy. If you have a question, just ask. Unmute yourself and ask. Anybody have a question or a comment?
Mike?
Yes, ma'am.
It's Lydia. I just missed the very first part. Is this something besides what they've been doing in Building Depth? It sounds like
this is Building Depth. That's what this is. Lydia, I'll send you the recording.
Okay.
Let me say 2 things to that, just since there's a little bit of a question. The cool thing is the lvcoaching.com is for anybody, and it's technically outside of Building Depth. Building Depth was the first group that grabbed hold of it, and they're using it within their group. So I guess there's answers. Yes, the concepts of Building Depth, the meeting in December, what Mike's excited about. So obviously the principles are there. The personal growth and development piece with LV Coaching is not Building Depth built, but they're using the platform because it fits in line with what we're doing. So that may help a little bit clarify that. So,
Blue, there's a good possibility that corporate's going to look as they are looking at this and considering adopting it, right? Too. Is that?
Well, yeah, we've had those conversations. So we were just told, take it down the road a little ways. We'll see where it fits in. We're pushing the corporate app on the roadmaps. We want to make sure that we can integrate it. There's a lot to do to make sure that can and maybe happen. So it's not a for sure thing, but yeah, we met with Ryan and everyone, and there's an open door there down the road if it works out where they feel the benefit there. And same with the sampling program. Once that gets on rolling, there's a chance that is something that will benefit the whole company as well. But again, anyone can use it. use it now. It just might not be pushed by the corporate website and staff until we prove it works and then get it out there. So that's a good question.
And you can go to that at lvcoaching.com. Lisa and I put it up early.
Yeah.
You can go there and sign up and get started. We've already started. It's
the building depth Facebook page will get you all the details on that, and then lvcoaching.com is where the personal growth and development platform is, and that will be developing. Just keep in mind, you guys, and I think the way Tyler put it was kind of funny. He says, get on and use it, and for right now, we don't want your input, right? He said it kind of jokingly, but the reason is we know what's not done. So we don't need calling, hey, this doesn't this, or this doesn't that, or this map's not done. Yeah, give us some time. There will be a point where we need that, and we're going to have some people pilot some stuff, and we'll get some really good feedback from some leaders that we all respect, and then we'll end up with a product that I think we're all happy with. So, yeah, 2 pieces there, but, yeah, thank you, guys.
And Blue, Blue and I discussed this, too, is Lisa and I are in this circle of running of significant influencers on social media and entrepreneurship and personal development. That's why we're in Vegas. We're going to an event I told Blue about. And guys, this is taking all of that and putting it on one platform.
Yeah.
And not being confused and knowing what you need to do. And I'm not saying that, like Lisa and I, we're connected with what we're doing, but we see it as something that complements everything that we're doing. And I think you guys, this company that they've partnered with has helped hundreds of companies develop these types of programs, and they've been successful. So that's why Blue is saying, as this goes around, you're going to see it evolve, and it's just going to get better and better and better. Anybody? Rosemary, did you have a question?
I did have a question. Blue said something about Thursday night. What was Thursday night? Or what is this?
Good question. What it is we had about 8 or 10 elites come to the Building Depth event, and then afterwards said, man, we love this, we're interested in getting involved. So we set up what we call an intro call, and then we introduce them to the platform and the concept, and then we'll walk them through. So Mike and them will be on that call, and then they'll be able to pass that on to any of you that are interested as well and show you guys how that works. But my whole point in that was we don't want people to think we're leaving them out because we're not inviting them, and we don't want anyone to think that if they're interested, they would be excluded. So we do our thing with our group. When people are interested, we show them the process, and then they choose to what extent they want to be involved. And so I was just saying that Mike and Lisa were getting on that call this Thursday, and then we'll start the process with them, and that can trickle down to anyone on their team. As you guys know, if it's something you want to do and interested, we'll get you on an intro call, explain the specifics so that you can make a good decision. That's what that was. So we have about people getting on that call who attended the event this last weekend.
Awesome.
Okay, thank you.
Awesome. Anybody else? Chris?
Hey, Mike. Yeah, you know what I love about this tear-off sheet, because I kind of looked at the sheet and everything, and what I love about it is the way when you're working one-to-one with someone individual, how you can just go down and ask them a question, and as soon as they answer it, yes, you check mark. And once you get through all of the components of this tear-off sheet, you pretty much, they've already answered the question that they're ready to join. So at the end of it, you just say, hey, you love the timing, you love the product, you love the compensation. Sounds like to me you're ready to join. Let's get started. Because you just go back through their answers. You ask them a question. Would you rather do leverage, or would you rather do linear? Do you want to join later? Do you want to join now? It's just an amazing, quick, easy, duplicatable system that literally, as you go through it, you're asking them questions, they're answering it, and by the time you get to the end of it, they pretty much already made their decision. I just love it.
Yeah, when they're saying yes, what platinum? You want a platinum pack? Yes, right. I mean, we're helping them down that road. So yeah. Plus, there's people that will, you watch those Facebook videos. You'll watch 10 different people teach it. So you may find a different personality that fits yours, and we're teaching you how to use that. And I'll just hint to you guys, just wait to see what's coming. I mean, we continue to put out things that's simple. What I love about the tear-off is we have people within a week in the business. They're sitting down with their friends doing the same thing because it's so simple and duplicatable for that type of meeting, and it's amazing. So yeah, you're obviously finding the benefits that we built in there, so that's awesome.
It's cool because Chris is one of my leaders, Blue, and we were just talking about it today, and we've we've taught some of the invite and some of the close that Sherry has done over the past couple of weeks. And what's been really cool about it is Lisa and I have already seen that what's been happening is we've had our best. I told this before you got on. Lisa and I are doing what we did back in 2011. We're enrolling 4 and 5 platinum packs a month and 10 to 15 distributors a month, and we're
PCs.
PCs and so vitality stacks. And so we're super excited about the simplicity of it. And so, guys, one more question. If somebody else has one more question. Anybody else have one more question?
Yeah, I'm definitely interested in that little system you guys are talking about.
Cool. Ben, I'm excited to talk to you about it, brother. Thanks for the comment.
Yeah, for sure. Sounds
All right, guys.
The biggest thing, you guys, with that system, I mean, you can start it tonight. LVcoaching.com. It'll literally sign you up. It's $1 a day, so you're committing a little bit, but $1 a day. I mean, and you can stop anytime. Use it for 30 days, and you watch. You're gonna laugh at the cost of 5 Starbucks or the program, right? I mean, you're gonna love it. But yeah, you can start tonight. Try to follow the prompts. Go to the roadmap. Check the boxes that say buy a platinum. Check it off. I already did, right? It says, do you have 200 PV in your subscription? Say yes. Check it off. So you can learn the process and you can see kind of what we're shooting for, and you'll see how it works. And then once you finish that, you go down the actual training guides, the steps within the maps, and it'll take you to the queue. We're affectionately calling her Mrs. Q, right? And we all have a love-hate relationship with her already, right? We love the fact that she's helping us, but we hate the fact that she's pointing out our weaknesses and making us think and making us grow. So it'll take you to the queue. You'll answer 10 questions on a scale of 1 to 10, and it will spit you out a course to do tonight, right? And I love doing it early in the morning or late at night because I don't think we should take time away from our business. But man, if we will do that, just like you said, you're interested. I just think don't think you have to wait a week to get started is my point. Go for it, get started, and I'd love that feedback later because we're going to start to see what it's doing for people's business. So,
yep.
Mike, thank you, man. Thanks for getting on the call. Thanks for the invite. Don't hesitate.
Love you, man. Appreciate you so much. Say hi to Raylene, okay? Love you, man. All right, David, thank you so much, brother, for being on the call. And any closing comment?
No, this has been awesome. We've been after this for a long time, and this is really quite revolutionary. And when I can get a phone call from somebody who says, "How come I didn't get my $400 for my platinum pack?" and you can say, "Go hit session 3. Level 1 and 2 and watch both those videos, and you'll find out why." Done.
Yep.
I'll meet tomorrow.
That's it.
It's the everyday steps that I don't have to be doing that anymore. I can be doing what is really productive, bringing people to the message and helping them bring their people to the message. I don't have to take care of all the stuff that is a minute video.
And you know what else, Dave? It'll also do is it will allow us not to want more for people than they want for themselves.
They're going to choose their own.
It gives them it gives them ability to row the boat with 2 oars or 1. Yeah. They can go around in a circle if they want, or they can row it with two and have more paddles in the water and be able to say, that's the fish I want, and that's the fish we're going to go with. And so, guys, thank you so much. I'm going to stop the recording. I'm going to let Dave go. It is, I know on the West Coast or East Coast, it's 10 o'clock, and here it's 7 o'clock. It's kind of nice, actually, to do one of these calls and it not be like 10 after 10 o'clock back home. So, guys, I hope this has been refreshing for you. I've been excited for weeks. Dave and the Building Depth crew just poured some gasoline on actually this one. You know, today being her birthday, it's really super exciting when you get to do this business with your spouse. And you get to do this business with your spouse and you watch them become that person that you've been praying for, and now we get to do everything together. So guys, remember, there'll be no leadership call on Thursday night. We had it tonight. Lisa and I are out in California, and we've got a whole week planned ahead of us. But I'll just tell you guys this. We're focused. We got our blinders on. And so I want to thank again, Dave, for jumping on, and I want to thank Blue. And so guys, I hope you guys all have an amazing night, and God bless you. And thank you guys for joining us.
Hey, Michael, will this be recorded and where?
Yes, I'll send it to you guys.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Awesome, Michael. Lisa.
Awesome call.
Wishes.
Thank you, Dave. I appreciate you, man. I'll see you soon.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate you too. Great job.
All right, bless you.
Thanks, Mike and Lisa. Bye-bye.
Bye bye.